Okay. While the cup is spinning, I'm going to show you guys the colors that I use because everybody kind of asked about the colors. So I use a, make that focus. Sunshine yellow. Come over this way. Read that, terracotta. A sunset orange. And espresso. Right now my cup is already on the turner. I've put a small layer of epoxy. How come I'm not turning? There we go. A small layer of epoxy on there already, and I let that turn for just a little bit to just get it nice and level. And you don't want to use too much epoxy. If you use too much, you're going to get the marbled effect, or your alcohol inks are going to start rolling around the cup. I also keep this cup the furthest away from my heat because you don't want your epoxy too thin. That's what will cause your inks to all merge together. And with this fire cup, you want your colors to stay apart as much as possible. I just use a white base coat paint. I clean my cups before I ever put epoxy on them, and this is what I use. This, you can get this at your automotive stores. I've been using this for almost 2 years now. I might get one fisheye every 200 cups. Other than the sticky cups I got last night, I really don't have to sand my cups hardly at ever. But I use this with just a microfiber rag in between every coat of epoxy. I can touch my cups like crazy, but I never expose them to water. I just take this and rub over it, then I put my epoxy on. So that's been turning for a little bit. I will take my heat gun, try to get out as many of the bubbles as possible. Turn my heater off. And I do this now so that I don't have any bubbles that show up underneath the inks. It will make your epoxy just a little bit thin, so try not to get it too hot. Just enough to get the bubbles out. And then the way that I have my turners set up, this particular one can come apart. I use these pipe flanges to hold my cups on, so my cups are nice and secure inside. Every once in a while I might have to push one on there. But this process pretty much is messy. And you're going to get ink everywhere because sometimes it rolls off of the epoxy. I've got epoxy running now. Hold on. Drip off. I really want to try to get my epoxy as not running as possible. And right now it's really running. My room's a little bit warmer than normal today. Come on. Okay, I start with yellow. Some of you guys had asked how I get my yellow to show up so well. You're just going to hold your cup kind of downward, and I go as much across this rim as I can. And you don't want to do too much ink. Too much ink is just that much more fluid on your cup. And I don't hold it sideways because I want my inks to run up and down, not sideways. And then we'll come over here to the bottom and we'll do the same thing. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. And then I just do a few drops in the middle. And you're going to add more yellow as this goes. But I just continue to tip my cup up and down, not holding it this way for the inks to run this way. You want your inks to run vertical. And the reason I use two different oranges, one is a lighter orange, one's darker. And these oranges, I'm just placing kind of wherever. And on these cups, it's important with the inks to not get fish eyes. If you get fish eyes, you will get spots that will not blend or look like alcohol ink. They'll just look like blobs on your cup. And I kind of wait a little bit between each color to let the epoxy get a little bit thicker on there and let these run in different areas to fill in the white. The more you let it fill in the white and that you can keep those colors separate, the better the effect will look. If you just start covering the whole cup in ink to fill in all your white spots, you're going to end up with just a mush of color. This is the little bit darker of an orange. No, I'm sorry, this one's the lighter orange. Okay, and then I'm going to add just a little bit more yellow and some of, that one's empty, and some of these spots that are still white to give it a little bit more yellow. I think that should be about good. A little bit of orange down here. Okay, on the browns, I really try to not use a whole lot because it can overpower your colors. But find some spots that are white. Oh no, there we go. And we're just going to let that run upward with each drop. These white spots should fill in, but my little trick is take a straw and blow into it to fill in any white spots. And then I will let that turn. And as it turns, those colors will start to fade a little bit to the sides. But I kind of babysit these cups. I come in about every 15 minutes for at least the first hour. And I change my turner to go right and then make it go to the left. And then make it go to the right and then make it go to the left. But so far, every single cup that I've done has turned out completely different than the other ones. And like, see if you can get close on that. See how things are starting to run sideways? We really want to try to keep the flow up and down. So if your cup starts to run too much to the sides, pull it back off and go up and down with it, because you want these lines to go this way, not back and forth. I'm going to add just a little bit more yellow to some of these lighter spots. Take this, go back the other way, and that'll cause your swirls to flip the other way. And there's really no wrong way to do these. If you want your cup darker orange, you're just going to add more orange. If you want it to be more smoky, add more brown. I just add that very generously because that brown can really take over and spread really fast. So, and this is upside down. This is one of the ones I was talking about last night that's still tacky. But every cup is going to turn out different. This one's got a little bit more orange in it. That one's got a little bit more yellow to it. And then... Okay, so it's been turning for a little bit. And right there in the crease, see how it's kind of bubbling up with the colors? So I'll just blow that upward. Got it? That should do it. And then when we're done letting it spin, I'll let it spin for a little bit, and then I'll put my heat a little bit closer just to kind of make the cure process go a little bit faster. I will cut the trees and the firefighters and stuff. I was doing the water slide, but I had some issues with some bubbling showing up underneath. So I've started going back to just black vinyl, and I'm liking how that looks a lot better. So I'll go and cut some black vinyl for my firefighters and the trees. And once this is all cured, we'll lay those and we'll put a name on it if they want a name on it. And then do a final cure, and it'll be all done. Thanks, guys.